right, guys, welcome to Go Squawk episode number 23. Here today, we actually have three for the price of one. We are currently introducing three people, Dr. Ewa Antczak, Karim Mirshahi, and Elsa Hsieh. And basically, they have, why don't you go ahead and tell them a little bit about what you do in your app that you were just describing?
The app, I think we're going to leave it there until Dr. Antczak come at 6
Perfect.
o'clock. We can talk about, maybe we can get Elsa to, she's in charge of we have an International Peace Festival, which just finished in September 18 to 20th, just before the International Peace Day. So this was our second year we're doing this event. First year we had the festival is promote peace through music, film, and art exhibition. So we had 1,100 films from all over the world was presented, submitted, which we picked top 30 films and we presented at the festival. There is a music portion to it, Music for Peace, which is Elsa is the executive director for the Music for Peace. Then we have with the art exhibits. We had beautiful exhibition of about 25 artists, and so it was wonderful. It was very inspiring. And
Amazing.
I'm going to pass it to Elsa, then you can come back to me, and she can talk about her portion of it, the Music for Peace.
Amazing. Yeah, please continue.
So my turn? Okay. Now I'm doing the music side. We just finished International Peace Festival, 3 days concert. So we have all kinds of musicians from all over the world, from classical, popular and easy rock, band, soloist, instrumentalist, and young artist, even children, young children. So those are very, very well received. During this Peace Festival, we also have a film. We have a music team from the film music, from Jackie Chan's music team. And we also, like Karim said, we have a film from all over the place. So obviously music is involved with everything. Now, right now, because from this Peace Festival, I'm going to bring it also to my own TV show, which is under the Doja du Soleil Music Go Live TV. So I'm going to include music, dance, art, architecture, photography, even like a cooking show. Like that. So that's a very good combination for all my musicians, the established ones or the young talented ones, the awarded ones, to put them all together. And I also composed a theme song for our Peace Festival. And that theme song is going to be sung by several choirs. Wow. It's called Peace for All. So I hope it's going to be a very, very good theme song for everyone to sing. Peace for all, for the world. Yes.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Why don't we go back to the beginning?
But first, priorities, right? As I'm sure you guys are aware, our show is based on picking a drink that matches our guests. And so I guess I can go ahead and start. We have three guests today. So I picked a stout, which is described, it's a Founder's Porter, and it's described by some of my three favorite words: dark, rich, and sexy. So
that's fantastic. That's fantastic. I actually came in the spirit of Halloween, so I actually brought a Dracula white wine from Romania. This is actually sponsored by a good friend of ours, Valentine. So shout out to Valentine for the fantastic drink. Although I don't have a proper glass, so that's gotta lose some points here.
I should have brought my drink.
Dracula, and by the way, Dracula is a sponsor of ours, so we actually somehow DC'd our way into, as we call it, Danny and Chien our way into having sponsorships for the alcohol that we drink on our show. So cheers to
I see.
Dracula.
Okay.
Product placement, eh?
Cheers. You know, it's a funny
Cheers.
story, Karim, because when we started this, we just kind of figured we started this during the COVID shutdown, the very beginning.
Yeah.
And social distancing was a thing, and we were just kind of like sitting home on a Friday night, and we was like, all right, how can we, you know, connect with our friends? So we started talking about financial markets and COVID-19, and we were having drinks over that. And then just one thing led to another, and it just, now we're on 23 episodes, and we've got like people who are giving us drinks to drink on the show. So, so cheers to everybody for that.
Cheers.
Cheers. I have my milk tea.
So I do have to say, the Peace Festival was where I was first introduced to Karim, and I have to say it was a very wonderful thing that you're doing, promoting art and culture in various formats to the world. What I wanted to know was, how did you get to this format of creating something like this and displaying talent all around the world in various mediums, and bringing them all together in one format?
Well, it started actually, I should have mentioned, I'm the publisher of the Toronto Waterfront magazine that we've been publishing for the last 17 years. And a few years ago, there was a lot of violence happening in Toronto, and our team, they got together, say, okay, let's come up with some ideas so we can address the violence. Maybe we can help to come up with some solution. And because we don't have all the solution, so we put this question to the artists. We started with the Film for Peace segment of it, and we invited a lot of filmmakers to create a short film, which talk about about some aspect of the violence, because violence comes from different ways. Could be mental health, could be drug abuse, could be different reason for it. So the short film would talk about the problem and a possible come up with a solution. And that was the idea. And so we put this to the artists, to the filmmakers. And initially we were only thinking about Toronto, but then as soon as we put it out, we got a lot of support. As I mentioned to you, we got 1,150 films was submitted from all over the world, like 150 countries around the world. Almost every country we got a film from, it was so amazing, so wonderful. And there was some great films and some wonderful films that we received. So that was a few years ago. So our first inaugural event was last year. We did that right at the International Peace Day, which was September 21st. That was last year was a one-day event. This year we had a 3-day event. And we have so much content, and from film, music, to art, that we just didn't have enough time to. Some of the artists were kind of disappointed because we couldn't accommodate them, because we had so much interested, which we were blessed for that. So that was happened again this year, September 18th to 20th. So the idea just came up about 3 years ago, and this is actually we are second year that and we've got as of December 1st, we're going to be accepting films. We are opening submission for the next year. So usually we start at December 1st, accept a film submission, and goes all the way till July.
That's fantastic. When I was at the Peace Festival several weeks ago, I noticed that although you're promoting peace, there was a lot of imagery related to war and violence. How do you feel about that aspect of it? I know the festival itself is promoting peace, but I guess you can't have one without the other, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you want to find a solution to a problem, I guess the filmmakers they had to show the problem. So then they then the message is how to address that problem and how we can deal with that, how we can have a solution for that. So basically, that's I mean, some people, if you just see it, just the beginning of it, you probably only see the wars and everything.
Yeah,
but I think you have to see right through it to get the message.
I can completely agree with that, and I think that one thing in our society that people don't necessarily understand is what violence is and its consequences, right? And it can be something as small as just some idiot running his mouth in a bar who doesn't know what he's doing, he doesn't know what he's saying, he's under the influence. And I trained in MMA for 20 years, right? So, you know, someone getting in a fight with somebody for no reason that perhaps, you know, could bring you a level that you're not expecting is a very dangerous reality, right? And so I think that the same goes for war and all kinds of these societal ills, is that you could say these things, you can think about it, but you don't understand the reality of it until you've lived it, right? And so, you know, thankfully, I think a lot of people should never have to experience war, and that's great. However, they still need to be aware of the reality of it in order to foster peace.
Exactly. And there's I'm also director, Elsa and Dr. Antczak, we're director of another organization called Ideal Me Enrichment Foundation. So we had a lot of workshops and panel discussions, workshops about inner peace. We had the event started in the morning at 8 in the morning. Between 8 to 10, we had yoga, meditation sessions, and then we go into the workshop, then panel discussions, then films, then music. So it was a real full day, 3-day event.
That's amazing. Do you have any plans to expand it to the U.S.?
I would love to. I think that I would love to do that, because I think the demands are there, that there's we're looking for partners who want to work with us.
Because I see that, you know, especially with this election cycle, you know, there's a lot of people preparing for an influx of violence, of protest. And, you know, no matter which side of the fence you lie on, neither side seems poised to accept the results of the election very easily. Right. So just as we saw, you know, starting with the George Floyd incident, you know, the influx of violence that I've been seeing in the U.S. is really disturbing, right? And, you know, regardless of the reasons, regardless of the, you know, the cause of it, you know, I would hope that we can agree that violence isn't the answer to try to work out our problems.
Absolutely. I mean, definitely we need this more in U.S. than in Canada, because the level of violence in the U.S. is much higher than Canada.
That's it.
Where about are you in the U.S.?
I'm in Tampa, Florida.
Okay.
Just a full background. I was actually, Chien and I met in Montreal. We taught at a trading school, and I've been coming back and forth to Montreal since 2015. I lived there since 2017, and basically got sick of the -40 winters and moved back to my home in sunny Florida. So I've been here back since February.
Interesting, because you know, last night I was trying to contact all this group from overseas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm planning to bring the group, the music group, okay,
Oh, great.
from back home, Taiwan,
Okay.
next year to Canada, and then to Los Angeles. Actually, I was talking to Los Angeles last night for this surprise group who come over, use music to promote peace.
Yes.
Okay. So and including art groups. That's why I was asking which part are you from the USA? Yeah.
Yeah, I actually produce my own artwork, as you can see right above me.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
Wow, very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's mathematical fractal based.
Right. And next year we are going to probably travel after pandemic is over, travel a different country, maybe back to Asia and wherever I studied, and try to film something with music combined with a peace message.
Yeah.
And promote it. Yeah. So I talked to Karim about that. So yeah, of course, yeah, USA would be great. It would be fantastic. I have a lot of friends like they are like Hollywood stars. So in Los Angeles, yeah.
Sure. For all of our issues that we do have in the US, there's still a lot of beauty here. And the creative expression that you could find here in the US is very, very eclectic and diverse. So I'm sure that you could find some valuable additions to your team here in the US. And I'll do what I can to reach out to, my community. And, because I produced artwork and I produced music for a while. So I may have some contacts for you.
Very good, beautiful. Yes.
That would be amazing. We did have a lot of. I think the highest number of films was from United States submitted, both last year and this year. And we have several musicians and musical talent also from US as well. So
amazing.
Definitely, this is international festivals, and we receive film, art, and music from all over the world.
So I have a question for the both of you. Peace is such a universal message, and the medium you're trying to promote peace through art, whether it be through music, through actual paintings or videos. This medium is not spread wide in mainstream media. How do you feel about that?
You're talking in terms of our festivals, didn't spread.
Well, like music, movies, art festivals. I mean, for the most part, like the consumption of media and the message that is being portrayed is not directed towards peace.
Yeah, I think that is one of the problem, because maybe peace is not that sexy. Violence is becoming more. You turn on the TV, all you see violence. It's all you see is and that is one of the problems, and that's something we have to address.
Yeah, that's something that. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
No, well, what I was going to say is that, we need actionable solutions, right? Because with the current society that we live in, and you can't blame people as being evil or inherently bad or anything. It's just like we have so many stressors today. And we had a specialist in neurobiology, Zach Pettigrew, who was talking about the coronavirus and how this is impacting not just with the virus, but the social consequences of what's going on, locking people indoors. People were already, on social media more than they socialize in public. And I've read a lot of studies which suggest that we've never been so lonely, even though we're so connected. And, couple that with the debt culture that we have, which Chien and I talk a lot about. And we have it just seems like a psychological bottle of issues ready to go. So I think that an actionable solution might be to address those maladies which are contributing to the problem.
Absolutely.
Well, actually, this time for the Peace Festival, for the music side, I actually strongly talked to all the musicians who was involved in this festival. I said that the message is not to promote music talents or the technique. Mm-hmm. It's actually the message of peace. So all my musicians, they wear white collar. So it started from the performers, like artists and the musicians and band, they all wear white, which represent peace. And a lot of them, they don't know white is for peace. Actually, I didn't know that until a few years back. But after I learned that white is for peace, that, I believe that people, they need to be educated. Now, for music this time, a lot of musicians, they want to use their CD to promote their own whatever songs. I said, no, because it comes to peace. So you first, yourself, you have to feel it. So when they sing the prayer, when we perform the prayer by like Angel Bocelli or Celine Dion and Amazing Grace, We Are the World, that kind of thing, it actually changed people's mentality. It improves people's, So it started with all these performers themselves, and then they feel this is a big mission for them. So for me, I perform a lot, but then now I feel that it's very important for my music to be influential for good reason.
Yes.
To help the poor. Yeah.
I can really speak to that because I actually made, I have two CDs out, and before that I had two like promo songs, and one of them was called Third World War, and it was meant as a warning right? It wasn't meant to glorify it by any means. It was basically in lyrical form, telling you the series of steps that are going to happen that we need to be aware of. And we're seeing a lot of that now. So
Yes.
yeah, I definitely agree with you in terms of the fact that this isn't about just proselytizing your own content. It's about agreeing with the message and being on board with that message.
And
Right.
like as I said, we have many films. Like we had to select 30 out of 1,000 films, and we had 20 judges. They were going through all the films, which is a lot of work. But the key is the message.
Yes.
That was the most important thing, is the message. I don't care if the film is made by a cell phone, as long as it has a great message. And that was the.
Of those films, are you at liberty to discuss one that really spoke to you, or that had a theme or a content that you were moved by?
There's films. It's really hard to say which one is. I did move by a few of them, to be honest with you. But there were so many amazing films that the problem again, the time limitation, we could only show 30 films out of 1,000 films. So
that's a shame. Wow.
Picking 30 out of 1,000 is a
that's got to be a tough
big
job.
task.
Wow.
And, so it was like heartbreaking to see, oh, this is a great film, but I guess this one is just, we cannot make it because we have to go on the 30 films.
Sometimes you got to make a decision.
But that's, I think that we're lucky that we have that problem. We have a lot of interest from all over the world, because people looking for peace. Everybody's looking for peace, and we've created this platform. We're inviting everyone to be part of it, and collectively we can maybe we can help to bring peace.
That's fantastic.
Oh,
I'm sorry, do you had something you want to add there?
Yeah, I truly believe that, because this time I'm not in the film department, but because the film department also have a music. So I try to dig out 2 films was submitted from my hometown, like from Taiwan. And I actually interviewed one of the directors of this film, from one of the film. They have this documentary, and it's talking about mother and son's love. So this son, he was suffering from those, I don't know how you call that, the illness that he was always like moving active. I believe it's
maybe autism, Asperger's, where they have
something like, ever since he was young. So he was having problem with making peace with his people. And so I interviewed this guy, and his film is only like 6 minutes. He told me it took him like 1 year to film it.
Wow.
For 6 minutes.
Amazing.
Yeah, he was selected one of his film, and not only that, the music behind it is the team, the music team, who is working with my own music company, also working with for Jackie Chan's Vanguard. I think Vanguard just was released back in September, like last month. So when I watched this film and listened to this music, I had the tears. So I truly believe this film and the music, they combine together, they can be very influential for people. Starting from young kids, whoever who's like angry people. That's why some people, they say, when you listen to a lot of good music, it can change you can develop a better personality, make you calm, that kind of thing. And that, I think that's a very fundamental elements too.
Yes, absolutely. And if you're into spirituality, it can actually change your vibrational energy state too, to bring it to a more peaceful, more calm, tranquil.
Yeah.
So, I definitely agree with you there. Just curious, what platform do you use to make music, and do you have an AWS audio workstation?
Are you?
Yeah. I'm just curious because I used Ableton Live to produce music.
Well, actually, I will be starting to make my own music video next year, but in a different purpose. So usually I will go to the professional music studio to do the recording.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I will have a drone, the aerialography and video team. Next year I will be going to Greece. I'm now trying to make agreement with some kind of organization to have my grand piano put on the agency.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so and trying to promote their culture as well. Just trying to go to different country to make friends.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Amazing.
Absolutely.
so that's what I will do.
This
That's
year
awesome.
we had Artscape as our sponsor, and there's a great facility. They help us with all the live streaming. We could only, because of COVID, we can only allow 50 people at the event, but we did live streaming, so it could be watched from all over the world. And last year the same thing. Also, Artscape were our sponsor, and we did the live streaming the same way. But last year we had several hundred people join because of there was no COVID. But this year we had a limitation of COVID, and it was like it was very interesting because of COVID. The Artscape, that venue, was closed till 2 weeks before our event, and then our event went on and it closed again 2 weeks after our event. It's just like it was God's grace that what had to open, so we do our event. That was very interesting.
Amazing.
Yeah, I guess you could say it's been a challenging year for everybody, regardless of what industry you're in. Everybody's kind of figuring things out as they go.
Yeah, I think we
for
just
our
figured it out day by day.
Yeah, for our non-Canadian listeners, why don't you go ahead and fill us in on the situation with COVID in Canada, in particular in Ontario, because I understand that you guys are entering a second phase of lockdown, or maybe even a third. I don't know. I can't keep count anymore.
I think second, right, Karim?
Well, in Toronto, and there's a suburb called Mississauga. We are into lockdown. All the restaurants are closed. There's no indoor dining, and but if you go outskirts, and there are still some there have open restaurants, but inside in the city, we are in a lockdown right now.
How do you think like people would feel by that? I mean, like in my mind, if you're locking down in Mississauga, it's just gonna drive economics to other places like Burlington.
Yeah,
Milton,
that is the. So my friend called me. His office is in Pickering. Says, "Come over here. We can have a drink together because you can't come here to have a drink. So come over, see me here. We have a drink together." So it does happen. Yeah.
I don't blame the politicians for this at all, because to be honest, if I was a leader in this situation, I wouldn't even know what to do. But it just feels like it just doesn't make sense that, if you lock down geographically one area and you allow people to travel, they're just going to continue to move around, and it's just going to cause the problem to spread to other locations.
Well, I think that this is showing us how little the politicians, let alone even scientists, understand this thing. I mean, none of the data really supports any of the actions they've taken. For example, in California, they had really draconian levels of lockdowns and forcing you to wear face masks and stuff like that. In Florida, we were pretty chill about it. And California actually had a worse outbreak than we did. So, I'm sure there's a lot of other statistics that go into that. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, but I'm a data guy, right? So I'm looking at the data, and it's not really proving that what any of the things that they're doing are actually effective. Moreover, they're not telling you, some of the, especially when you don't have a vaccine. Right, one of the best ways to is to fight a virus or just being sick in general is just to foster your immune system, right? And I've not yet heard once a public authority saying, "Hey, go out and get sun, get exercise at least 3 times a week, and eat healthy." I have not heard those 3 things, even though those are the 3 things that are proven more than anything you could possibly do to help your overall health. I've not heard yet those words echoed yet once.
Yeah, I think the mental health aspect of this is we will have a long-lasting problems. There's with the mental health. I mean, people
Exactly.
I'm going crazy. Like everybody's going crazy. With the new
and not to mention. Not to mention, if you're a service person who derives your income from, being a waiter or a bartender, these aren't necessarily people who have a large, substantial savings under their belt.
Yeah.
They're really suffering, and I'm not entirely convinced that the stimulus pack. At least you guys are getting a stimulus. We're, in the U.S. is still bouncing around in the House, but at least you guys have that. But I still don't really think that that's enough.
Yeah, Karim and Elsa, we had a guest, Zach Pettigrew, who's doctor in virology, and he was explaining to us that the measures that they're putting in place to kind of mitigate COVID transmission, things such as like staying indoors, keeping distance away from people. These are all the things that will foster mental health, like stress, keeping people away from working, which will bring on, financial stress, keeping people inside, which will lead to more things such as like obesity. These are all the things that will exacerbate COVID-19 symptoms. And these are, like Danny was saying, these are the exact opposite of what officials are telling the ordinary public. They're telling people that this is what they should do, when in reality, nobody has come out and just mentioned some of the most basic, common sense health practices that could boost your immune system.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually, I know this year is being very, very sad, isolating and challenging and hard for a lot of people, for many, for everyone, right? But I think in a way, it's a huge lesson to a lot of majority of people that they start to wake up that what we have lost is what we used to own.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, this year is also very hard for me because all the performance canceled, everything online.
Yeah,
and I'm the type of musician that I really like to perform live
nice.
on the piano. I don't want to do online, and I don't know how to do the editing. I'm that kind of a musician, so everything is very hard for me, and even teaching go online. So it's very, very hard to demonstrate, but also at the same time, for this year, from the beginning of the year until now, there are so many months that mentally, physically, emotionally, I'm trying to actually prepare myself. I become more calm. For this year, I'm not like working 52 hours a week like I used to, running. So a lot of music to me is already different, different pace. So mentality wise, in this case, it also gave me a new chapter of my next life. When the pandemic is
Post-COVID
over,
life, yeah.
business wise, financially wise, okay, the online business. A lot of my friends, they actually invest in USA in the big plaza. They used to earn so much money, but now this year they are really suffering, bankrupt, that kind of thing.
It's interesting that you've mentioned the transition to online. We've noticed for our line of work, online education has picked up quite a bit more. And specifically for us, we work in financial markets. And so we've been getting a lot of interest from that group of people. But unfortunately, it's not quality interest, because we're getting a lot of people who come to us in positions of desperation, and they're reaching out to us and saying, hey, I need to flip, a couple $100 really fast in the markets. Like, how do I do it? And it's very sad to see that a lot of people are in, this position where they can't really help themselves, and they're in position of desperation almost.
Right.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say it's really sad because the worst, aside from the fact that numerically, just accounting wise, it's going to be very, very difficult to accomplish that task of flipping just a couple $100 into whatever. It's the wrong mindset too. And even though we've been focusing on our current topics, we still are a fintech company, so we're very in tune with the markets and trading in particular. And that is the worst mindset you can possibly be in if you want to actually make money or trade. Is a position of desperation.
Okay, but the thing is, I know that because when I interviewed a musician, some very famous one, that they told me they had 30 bookings every month. Okay, they are running all over the place, but now they have zero booking, everything canceled. So they have to go on the street to perform again, you know. But that's very little money, and they got a mortgage to pay. They got
Yeah.
the expenses to pay, right? Now, just last week, October 25th, because of all this COVID-19, and then, you know, senior home is suffering tremendously.
Mhm.
Okay, for the past few, only like within the last few 3 or 4 months, I had 6 people passed away.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
Oh God.
They may not be directly with the COVID-19. They didn't pass away with the COVID-19, but it's kind of related because they are suffering from depression. They cannot go out, so they stop eating, that kind of thing. And a lot of them are like good friends with my family, like more than 30 years. By the time we know it, they're already buried.
Oh.
Like within 2 days, that the kids cannot even come. So that's very sad. So we had an online concert. And I was very, very amazed for this online concert, how they run it so successfully. They had about 157 musicians, only musicians, okay? And it's like a music marathon. And they also have a movie stars from back home, Hong Kong, China, or Taiwan, whatever. So they run it for 9 hours online only. It's not a really a huge musicians. It's whoever want to donate their talent, free talent. At the end, for 9 hours, they got so much exposure globally because it was on TV. Okay, of course, they work with the media, like a TV station. So, and they finally collected from this online concert, they collected more than 130,000
Wow.
for senior home.
Okay, so there's
that
a silver
means-
lining to this.
Huh?
Yeah.
There's a silver lining, like there's a good side to this.
Yeah, good side of it. So I know that every time when our life it went through a big transition, there may be some challenges, but must be a way. There must be a way that we can come up with a good strategy. You know, maybe in the future we can do the online concert with a mission.
Well, it kind of goes back to what you guys are doing with the Peace Festival. I mean, in every negative, there's a positive. It's just the way you
Yes.
look at it. And I myself, I've been spending a little bit more time with Dr. PPP, and he's been teaching me to become more spiritual. You know, giving back more, donating more. I think these are all the things that like humanity really needs during this time. We need to reach out to one another and kind of like give back to each other, especially during the time when like the world is flipped upside down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and finding different ways to give back and to share. So I think Peace Festival, what you guys are doing through art is fantastic.
And I think another thing people don't have a concept of anymore is gratitude, right? Everybody wants something for free. Everybody's more. If you look at the themes in the news, it's, oh, I don't have this, and you know, and to be fair, I mean, there's a lot of people in some desperate situations, but I think that even in the most dire of times, one of the ways to keep spiritual and to keep positive is to remember what you are grateful for.
Yeah. It's very. I think it's so important to have faith, no matter how hard it is. You know, like this time when I arranged all this musician with the Peace Festival, I had the musicians that suffer from the COVID, from the pandemic. They had no income. Some of them, they get upset because they perform for free, but the ones perform with a goodwill. Say, for example, I perform, but I really want to perform for peace. I want to perform for good voice. Some people want to sing Amazing Grace or We Are the World with a special meaning, especially it's such a great opportunity for us to bring that kind of message of songs, right? And for those musicians, not only they actually rebuild themselves, they also encourage others. And they are also earning a lot of publicity, a lot of exposure too, for not only to promote their CD, but also promote their music has influence, has a meaning, I would say. Yeah. So this time the Peace Festival, I'm very glad that not only musicians, we have all kinds of a video, very, very well-produced video, especially for peace.
I think that this is the exact message the world needs to hear right now.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it couldn't come at a better time. With regards to your Peace Festival, do you guys host this annually? And is it only in Canada or you do other locations? Because I remember earlier you said that you don't have a venue in the United States yet.
At the moment, this the event is happening only in Toronto. What we are hoping in the future, we're going to have multi-cities, multi-countries, hopefully.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So it looks like we just had somebody join us. Is this Iwa Antczak?
Yes, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Is that name Polish, by the
Pleasure to
way?
meet you.
Yes, it is. Are you
Yeah,
Polish?
well, my family's from Hungary, so
Oh, it's okay. So sounds familiar.
yeah.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Excellent. Nice to meet you.
Yes, it's a
Why
pleasure
don't
to
you give
meet
us a
you.
quick introduction real quick, and then we can get, I have some questions I wanted to ask you on your application. So I'm very excited.
Absolutely. Just give me a second, please.
No,
Just
not a
a
problem.
okay.
So, Chien, are you in Canada?
Yes, I actually recently moved to Brampton, Ontario, from Montreal. I came here in September.
Brampton.
Yeah, so I'm
I mean,
currently in Brampton,
Mississauga.
yeah, yes, not too far away from there, but yeah, I came here and I reached out to a friend of mine, Sarah, and she invited me to the Peace Festival to just kind of like hang out and check out some artwork, and it was through there I was able to meet Karim and Dr. PPP and Tina as well. So it was pretty awesome experience, I have to say.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so the universe works in mysterious ways.
Yes.
So I'm back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Okay. So you still want me to give you a short introduction
Yes,
about
please.
what I'm
Please.
doing? All right. So by profession, I am an educational psychologist. So I work mainly with children and with adolescents, helping them to recognize their strengths, weaknesses. So also providing some counseling and assessments. What else? I've been working with Karim for about 2 years now on several different initiatives, including the Peace Festival you just mentioned that a second ago. And also we ran together with Elsa the Ideal Me Enrichment Foundation. So the goal is to basically promote excellency through art, through technology, and education. Under this foundation, we developed a Talk to Alex app that you also mentioned a moment ago. It is an app developed for youth, for children, to help them dealing with daily stresses, with any emotions, unpleasant emotions they may have. And it's Alex basically is an emotional companion for youth, helps them to feel a little bit better.
Interesting. So I'm not sure how much you know about Squawk, but basically we have a product that, my background is machine learning and AI and in particular natural language processing. And so I designed this natural language processing classifier to basically understand what we call the risk sentiment in the markets. So that is when people are saying things about stocks or bonds or whatever, what is that telling you about their risk sentiment or their fear or greed that's going on into the market? So I was really curious about how that app works, if you have some kind of natural language processing technology behind it, or what are the details of that?
So thank you very much for your introduction and great question. We made this app in such a way that it mimics that it is an eye, but it is not yet. Mm-hmm. However, this is basically the next step that we'd like to take to introduce the natural learning and machine learning and so on, and develop this into an AI. So we cannot do that at the moment. This is just a simple, I would say,
prototype.
Exactly. No, so based on logic, if you feel anxious, then let's go this way, and Alex will ask you several questions to make you feel better. If you are feeling fantastic, that's fine. Let's practice some helpful tools and strategies. But you're absolutely right. It will be beneficial to add to this application
Yeah, I
something
think there's all
more
kinds of directions you could go with it. For example, if you're looking at the analytics, you could be taking understanding the certain themes that people are talking about and be able to data mine, some of the common issues that people are facing.
Absolutely. And one more thing, we've been working on this application for about 5 years, like very intensely. It was about 2 years, but throughout the process, so we interviewed about 600 people, asking them, at each and every stage of creating the app. So basically we're asking them, as you know, English is my second language. So even I wanted to know how these children talk with each other. What is the language that they respond to? What are the issues? What helps them? What doesn't help them? And also we were asking teachers and parents, what they do to make their children feel a little bit better.
It's very interesting that you mentioned that. I also picked up on the fact that you guys focus on a lot of educational aspects for children as well. It's really interesting because that is something that we're also trying to tackle with Go Squawk. The original idea here was to develop financial literacy and financial education programs geared more towards young adults and older individuals. But eventually we want to take our technology, because our technology has the capabilities to summarize and translate natural language processing headlines into any language in the world. So we want to take that and be able to provide it to children all around the world.
Well, basically our theme here is democratization, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we want to effectively democratize education for people all around the world.
Yeah, if you look at like the where do people get their news from, right? It's mainly Bloomberg and Reuters, which are $1,800 and $3,000, right? So not everybody has that kind of money, even in the richest countries in the world, let alone in developing nations, right? I mean, how likely are you going to find somebody in, say, India or Vietnam that could pay those prices? And secondly, it's Anglo-centric anyway. So all of these all these headlines that you're going to get are going to be primarily in English. So what we're doing is we're taking this step to actually have natural language processing running in real time for a very decent price, right? So that people can get the access to the same news. It's obviously not going to be on par with them, because we're not charging $3,000 a month, and we're not even trying to compete with them, right? We have a very specific niche that we're looking to, right? And so basically we're offering this to democratize it to the world.
Yeah, and the idea here is that eventually we can move down to a different target audience, and effectively reach like a younger demographic, which is why you can see our logo here for the company is designed in a way where it's supposed to be kid friendly, and then the idea here is that eventually we'll have Ghosty as like a guiding force to kind of like help people around the world with better financial literacy and financial education.
So funny story behind the Ghosty logo. I don't know if I've ever actually told this publicly, but basically I went to a graphic designer and I kind of described basically what Chien said, like, this is our use case, this is what we want. And basically he gave me this really cool little pixelated ghost, but it turned out looking too much like the Pac-Man ghost. And so I tried to get it printed on shirts, but then the shirt company basically hit me with a copyright thing. They're like, sorry, we can't print this because it looks too much like that. So then we kind of went back to the drawing board and came up with the current Ghosty that we have now.
No, it looks really cool. It looks really cool, and the name is also very cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, this is a funny story behind the name to that. I don't know, Danny. Do you want to share?
So a little bit of Ghost Squawk history here. So
The lore.
Yeah, exactly. The lore. we're gonna have to have a what do they call it, like a historian sooner or later, because we're accumulating a lot of cool stories. But basically, when I was developing this, all of the things that we developed between me and Chien were just tools to help us trade, right? And so they were just in-house tools that we used ourselves. And so when I was testing this, there's two things to understand about this news. Like, not only is it printed for you, but it will like in an auditory manner, read the news to you. And in finance, we call that a squawk, right? And usually that's a human who sits there and reads the news and decides what's important for you. And, he goes ahead and reads it. And so, there were times when I'd leave the audio feature on and I'd forget about it. And I'd be, in the kitchen or whatever, like my office was my kitchen. So my girlfriend at the time would be like, the ghost is still talking if I'd forget to turn it off. And, sometimes she would say that, with affection. And when it would squawk at 3 a.m., maybe she wasn't so affectionate about it. So, so for her little nickname, calling it the ghost, that basically became our title.
Nice.
Yeah, I think over time it kind of evolved to kind of fit what we're trying to do, because we are heavily working with AI, machine learning, and using it as an assistant tool to kind of help people navigate financial markets. So metaphorically, you can think of an assistant like that as a ghost, kind of hanging behind you, but guiding you in the right.
It's actually behind
right
Chien right now, like on the screen. That's what's on the screen behind him.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it looks really cool. Do you want to see Alex?
Sure.
Yes, please. We're actually very
let me grant you screen sharing powers real quick.
Just I'll see. You can go on the website, talk to Alex. But you know what? I can share screen. Possibly.
Yeah, I just granted you screen sharing powers. So.
You did? Okay, thank you. So I have the power. Okay, let me use it. So this is our Alex.
Oh, cool.
I wanted to play a very short video, okay?
Okay.
You can stop me at any time if you feel that this is boring.
Okay?
No,
not a problem.
Here we go.
1 in 5 youth suffer from mental health problems. 70% of mental health problems begin in childhood, but only a few people actually receive help after accidents. Suicide is the second leading cause of death for kids aged 15 to 24.
Hi, my name is Alex. I am your robo-friend.
Talk to Alex is an innovative mobile application that supports the mental health of youth by providing them with research-based, research-informed tools and strategies proven to boost mood, change negative thinking patterns, and help in making good decisions.
So, yeah.
Very well done. Very well done. I like that video.
That's awesome.
It touches on a lot of really important points. Like, one thing that I've noticed that doesn't make it to the news, they love to talk about gun crime and things like that. And of course, these are all issues that we need to address. But there's the one issue is that nobody's talking about is the fact that suicide rates in the U.S., at least I'm sure it's the same in Canada, are at historic levels, even rivaling that of the Great Depression. And I know in Montreal, I used to know a dude who, sorry to not sugarcoat this, but he would scrape the bodies off of when people would jump in the metros, and he was working like if not every day, at least like twice a week. Like, and this is just news that we don't hear. And sorry to be so graphic, but I think that sometimes you need that graphic to really strike people and to say that this is a problem in our society.
This is it was a problem, but can you imagine how much bigger or more significant the problem is nowadays?
Yes.
And again, I'm talking with different people as a psychologist, and sometimes people have to adjust to the new lifestyle within 5 minutes. They got a phone call, the company is closed, you need to relocate.
Mm-hmm.
And so this has a huge toll on people's mental health and of course suicide rate, which thankfully it is not happily shared in media too often. because I think it will be very depressing for a lot of people to even realize the amounts, the significance of the situation.
Yeah, Dr. Antczak, before you joined in, we were discussing how for us as a company, we've been getting an influx of people who are more interested in financial markets, and they're more interested in trading and investing. And we've been getting a lot more people coming to us in positions of desperation because of everything that's going on, all the stressors of ordinary life. It's building up on them from losing their job or not being able to go to work, the financial stress and things like that. And they're coming to us in a position of desperation. And they're saying things to us like, please help me find a way to double my money, or please help me find a way to make some money really fast. Right. And these are like psychological things that we realize and we're seeing a lot more of on a daily basis.
And, just one thing in what I do in my practice, of course, it is normal to have different emotions. And of course, the circumstances are very unique. But now imagine if you can deal with clients who are emotionally a little bit more stable and they're not making reckless decisions. But let's say they're able to calm themselves down and make the decision based not as much as on emotions and desperation as you're describing, but being able to sit down with you and have
more in like a rational light. It's very interesting that because I primarily work in financial markets, the thing that I encounter most with the people that I coach and mentor is that those who are successful or not really comes down to their mental fortitude and how well they can balance their psychology. You have people who are extremely disciplined who tend to do very, very well in financial markets. And then you have those who are not very disciplined and they get a wild roller coaster ride.
And desperation is the worst mentality you could really approach anything, really. Especially trading, right? Because this finance in general forces you to have such a disciplined and methodical and calm and emotion agnostic approach to whatever it is you're doing, right? So when you come, like in general, the people that come to us and say, hey, can you help me double my money? We're like, it doesn't really work like that. But especially when they're like, look, I'm in a situation. It's like, listen, I'm really sorry to hear that, but this isn't something that it's not magic, and if you did find someone who's promising you that, then avoid it because it's probably a scam.
Very good advice. Yeah.
So is your service, is it commercialized right now?
It is. Basically, we're charging $34.99 a month for the service, which includes, the headlines. It includes the audio squawk. It includes our.
You can actually see it right there.
Yeah, and we provide this service for not only the general markets, but also for cryptocurrencies. And we're going to be expanding and specializing pretty soon in stocks, commodities, bonds, things like that for people who want to trade those topics. We actually recently got a venture cap accelerator type deal with Open Water, so shouts to them, where they gave me a development team to take this product to the next level. So basically we're adding a lot more features. We're adding real-time events like the data-driven events that really drive
US elections.
Yeah, and so we're having a Twitter feed. We're having basically a lot more added to the product.
Yeah, we're trying really hard right now to solve the language translation function, because if you look at news, everything is primarily issued out in English. And for those who do not have a strong comprehension of the English language, they are effectively at a disadvantage. So you're looking at a large portion of the world population who cannot have the same edge as somebody else who understands English. And so if we're able to solve that issue through our technology and provide users who have English as their second language or third language or whatever, we feel that we can bring this technology and make it of great value to people from all around the world.
You have a website?
GoSquawk.com.
Huh?
GoSquawk.com.
Okay.
I can pull it up real quick.
Yeah, GoSquawk.com. So please don't judge us too hard. The development team right now is working really hard to hash out our new website. So if you go there right now, you can see the work on the website really reflects the development of two dudes in a basement.
Yeah, basically, we're very proud of the fact that we started off as two dudes in a basement, and it shows.
Yeah, the work kind of reflects that. But as we're growing rapidly, we're trying to transition away from that look. So the hopefully the development team should have the new website up and running within the next 3 to 4 weeks. So by mid-December, we should have a much more professional looking website that reflects the quality of product and services that we offer.
So how do people contact you? I mean,
we have emails. We're pretty heavily promoted on social media. We are pretty social in that aspect. A lot of our
through our
technology
Discord. It's mainly through our Discord. We use a kind of community software, much like Slack, but it's called Discord. It's it really gives us more access to like a younger audience because it's primarily a gaming community type thing. But you see communities for all types of things like science, education, art, music, etc. And so basically, we have our little fintech Discord, and so our goal is to become the biggest Discord community for finance and investing. So currently we're about 2,500 members, so it's non-trivial. It's not small by any means, but it's not as large as we'd like it to be. You know, we're very active on it. We have a couple. If anybody, any of your friends, or if you guys are interested, you could sign up completely for free. And there's a general chat session where we talk about general trends in the markets, and you know, every once in a while we'll talk about our stock selections and things like that. And then of course for our paid subscribers, we have a VIP room where I do daily market commentary every day, because you know, as you know, Iwa, the women in the family in Eastern Europe run the money. So my mother taught me how to trade stocks when I was like 6 years old. So I've you know, been studying these charts for a long time. So I basically give a rundown of a lot of the basically 6 major assets in the markets and what they're doing on a daily basis. And then Chien has a daily live stream, which is also completely for free, that you know, he'll actually go and trade live with the group.
So what is the age group that you send the message to?
It's all over the place. I mean, we have we have one of our best traders is actually 15, and he has a custodial account through his parents. We have another trader, Anna, who's I don't want to disclose her age. I don't know, to be honest, but she's actually one of our best traders as well. But she's, you know, 30s, 40s, and you know, the age just fluctuates very. It's all over the place. It's kind of impossible to pick a certain demographic. It tends to be mostly male. However, our female traders who are able to succeed are usually the best.
Yeah, that's very strange. And I would like to hear that from a psychologist standpoint as to why females tend to be a little bit more risk adverse, which kind of gives them an edge when it comes into financial markets. But I would like to hear from your perspective what your thoughts are on that.
You know, that's an interesting question. I'm just thinking about it also, why. But I think that women are generally speaking a little bit more risk takers. We have to go through a lot of difficulties, you know, from giving birth to trade and to sustain our families. But also the female brain is wired in a little bit different way. I don't know if you heard that or not, but
yeah, actually the corpus callosum experiences an acid flush about 3 months into gestation, destroying the mediary between the 2 hemispheres. So I've studied a lot of neurology.
Okay, so here you go. So these connections are a little bit different and in female brain than male brain. So you can. I don't want to say that the female brain is a little bit more creative because, of course, everybody is different. But I don't know. I think women are generally speaking risk takers, and maybe that's why.
I actually do break down the neurology of it, and actually one of the modules. And I know that there's a lot of contention around gender and stuff like that. And I'm like, listen, my point is not to step on anybody's toes. I just want to have you understand the generalities of neurology so that you can be able to understand what behaviors you can affect. So not only do we have the destruction of the corpus callosum, which mediates the 2 hemispheres, right? right? Which makes men a little bit more linear, but women able to kind of bounce around back and forth, which is an equally valuable skill. Like each side has its own trade-offs, right? Moreover, the ventral tegmental area is about 3 times larger in women, so they tend to be a little bit more emotional, a little bit more caring, a lot more activity in the limbic system and the ventral tegmental area as well. So basically, I talk about this to help people understand what kind of predilections they may have at a neurological level and be able to mitigate those or at least the effects of those in their trading.
But do you believe that being a little bit more emotional, or as you described it, having a little bit more activity in the limbic system is actually helpful?
I don't believe that it's actually helpful, and all of our evidence suggests that when you get emotional, you tend to be more irrational with your trades, you tend to make mistakes. Now, that being said, that the reason why I cite that is to allow people, you know, not just the women, but people in general, to understand that if they're starting to get emotional, right, if they're starting to feel a little bit anxious or worried or fearful, that maybe they should step away from the computer.
But on the contrary, if you have positive emotions, you can create amazing results, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be awesome to work with you on an app for that.
Yeah, that's the creativity kicks in.
Yeah, like I'd have to say this is a fantastic conversation with all of you. I think there's so much more we can explore here. I mean, from psychology and how that connects with markets, or even music. There's a lot of pattern recognition in music, and when it comes to trading itself, there's a lot of pattern recognition when it comes to trading. So there's so much more we can explore here. But for time's sake, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to cut this off.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're doing an election special that we have to prepare for, so we're going to be doing a little bit of market commentary on that. So unfortunately, we're going to have to close this. But I wish we could allow this to run for like another hour, because we have just so much interesting conversation going on between not only you, Iwa, but your colleagues earlier. Amazing work they're doing with the Peace Festival, with proselytizing the message of peace, and I, you know, couldn't express that this is couldn't express more how much this is needed at this time.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. It's really an honor to have you, and keep it spooky.
Yeah, so thank you very much, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you
for having us.